Mutea Iringo, seasoned career civil servant with some 26 years of service in his cap. He is the nominee for the position of Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Interior and National Coordination. He is seeking to succeed Self, having been in the same position in the last year. His docket is a subject of loud discussions, especially after the appointment of the county police commanders by David Kimayo, the Inspector General of Police.
We are emphasizing that the Police Service Commission delegates these mandates to the Inspector General so they are able to operate. And the recommendations we have made to the Attorney General for guidance are subject to being accepted or rejected. And of course, in the process, you also have an input.
The problem is not constitutional. It is managerial and a matter of human relations. What does that mean? We did not give an overlap without having considered the best way to manage a police force.
For him, it's a tough balancing act. Before the committee, he is another candidate, but at the office of the president, he is the man in charge, an accounting officer. He is seeking a job that he is already performing, but one that has him on the receiving end.
We are facing challenges in the implementation of the Constitution, and this is not just on the security sector alone, but across the board. And I want to assure you that we may have a few more hurdles to jump.
The dispute and conflict of roles between the Inspector General and the Police Service Commission threatens to derail police reforms.
This constitution must be interpreted in a manner that promotes its purposes, values and principles, that advances the rule of law and the human rights and fundamental freedoms in the Bill of Rights and contributes to good governance. There is a reason why this structure was put in place. It was responding to something.
The committee is threatening to fight back in Parliament if Iringo takes the war to the floor of Parliament. This was the last day of vetting that also saw Engineer Karanja Kibicho, the outgoing permanent secretary in the Ministry of Transport, take the stand. Karanja was hard-pressed to explain how his engineering background would be utilized in the diplomatic field.
Certainly, I can tell you that Kenya is in a dire need of a serious image surgery. Dire need. How prepared are you to undertake that task?
I have two things in mind, and these are basic. That there is no country that is in love with another one. It's about resource exploitation. There is no country that owes us anything. It's about who is smarter than who, so that we exploit the resources that exist in these countries.
Also vetted on this day was Ambassador Monica Kathina Juma, who is seeking to occupy the defense portfolio as Principal Secretary.
I consider myself a team player.
The vetting sessions were not about if, rather they were about how. That is how the nominees will execute the function of their office if given the opportunity. With the vetting process now behind them, the names will go to Parliament next week on Tuesday before President Uhuru Kenyatta does the appointment, that is if Parliament approves them. Ken Mijungu, NTV.